In the 1950s, there was a great deal of Army surplus climbing equipment on the market and quite a few Army-trained climbers that wanted to use it. But the gear in the 50s that they were first using was very primitive. The American manufacturers began in the 60s, and the selection was getting pretty good. They had pitons of all sizes, from little tiny things to things this big. That's a pretty good sized crack. In the late 60s, Royal Robbins brought the first nuts back to the United States. They're called nuts because in England, where they were kind of developed, when they'd be going to their climbs, they'd pick up the big nuts off the railroad tracks, loosen the tracks a little bit, not too many of them, and put a sling through them and use those. By the 70s, when Chenard got wind of this and really popularized it, Doug Robinson, Tom Frost, guys that worked with him, they came up with a huge array of nuts. And people almost overnight gave up pitons because they realized this is the way to do it. Other things that were going on in the 70s were the first spring-loaded cans. And those were adjustable with your hands. They would spread out to fill the crack perfectly. They could actually hold on parallel-sided cracks. They were marvelous things that could do things that nuts simply couldn't do, and they were fast.